What's going on, guys? I'm Tommy, and I'm coming at you with another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Jazwares Micro Galaxy Squadron Ahsoka Tano's T-6 shuttle from Ahsoka. I never actually found one in store until the other day. I walked into Target and I finally laid my eyes on this masterpiece of a ship. I loved the design of this ship all the way back from when I saw it in the Clone Wars series, and I'm so happy it's made a more prominent role in the Ahsoka series. This thing is huge. It is much bigger, and it looks smaller in the box because the wingspan isn't, complete. It's half assembled in the box. This is actually bigger, has a wider wingspan than the Ghost. So if you have the Micro Galaxy Squadron Ghost, this is bigger than that. Taking a look at this monster of a ship, this is part of the Dreadnought class. Obviously, it's not in the exact same size box as the ATTE, the first of the Dreadnought class. However, this still is a behemoth. On the front of the packaging here, you'll see the Star Wars logo. Up on the top right, the Ahsoka series logo, as well as the Jazwares logo. You have a picture of the ship fully assembled with that other wing attached. You have a massive, massive plastic window showing you the ship, the characters that it comes with, your Micro Galaxy Squadron logo. This is technically a Series 2 release. I'm assuming it is Series 2 of the Dreadnought class. You have a little image of the ship down here, the name of the ship, as well as it is number 149 in this line. On this side of the box, you get some really nice art from the planet Cetos. You get some little tentacles. Those are probably from a star whale, a Purgle, and then you have one of the Fiend fighters chasing the shuttle like it did in the show. On the back of the box, you have your very classic Jazwares packaging with the hologram image of the ship, showing you all the many, many different features that it comes with, as well as a little kind of cutout trading card / display card that you can pull off for the ship, and then you have the name of the ship down here with the Dreadnought class name. On this side of the box, they just show you a few more of those features that we already saw on the back. On the bottom of the box, you have some of your legalese. Please, guys, don't feed this ship to your babies. And then on the top of the box, you do have your Star Wars and Micro Galaxy Squadron logos again. Now that we've covered the packaging, let's get this behemoth opened and check it out. Alrighty, here's everything as it comes out of the box. Let's first check out our character selection with our 1-inch scale figures. We have 3 awesome choices for figures here, that being Sabine Wren, Ahsoka Tano, and Professor Hu Yang. On the back here, we also have our little illustrations of the characters on a blue grid background. First, taking a look at Sabine Wren, she looks awesome. She is a very intricately detailed character, and I think for a 1-inch scale, Jazwares did a pretty damn good job. They even printed on the Phoenix symbol, the Rebel symbol, on her right pauldron there. You've got lots of the orange, white, and almost purple deco colors all throughout the armor, as well as some blue, some very shiny blue as well for some of that armor. This bleeds down into the armor on the legs. Everything looks very, very nicely detailed here. They've even sculpted and painted in Sabine's blaster pistols here on both of her hips. I think this is an extremely fine detail to add to this character. Sabine does have the standard articulation that most characters do have in this line. She has a rod that runs through the shoulders, which gives you a 360-degree swivel, and then she also has a rod that runs through the hips, gives you a hinge that lets you bend the legs 90 degrees for a sitting position. Now taking a look at Ahsoka, this is the first time we've seen this look for Ahsoka in the line. I will admit the printing of the kind of blue stripes on the tops of the montrals there look a little bit goofy. There's a lot of white going on, but I will never be one to complain about the detail on these 1-inch scale figures. These guys are just meant to sit in the ship. I look at this and I know that it's Ahsoka Tano. That's all that I care about with this line. She does have some very nice paint applications, a little bit of silver for the belt buckle, as well as some kind of bluish silver for the gauntlets, and some like bluish gray for the ends of the gloves there. And then other than that, she's a pretty barren figure. I don't see any deco for the lightsabers, however, they are sculpted in there onto the hips. Ahsoka does also have that same articulation scheme that Sabine had. She's got the rod that runs through the shoulders, which for some reason is getting stuck. doesn't seem to want to run 360 degrees, so I'm not going to push my luck. And she does also have that hinge, which lets her sit. And finally, we have Professor Hu Yang. Professor Hu Yang comes with an accessory. He comes with his little attachment on his back, his extra arms there. There is a plug-in on the back there that lets you kind of plug that in. It fits in there very nicely. Passes the shake test. Hopefully you don't lose this to the carpet monster. He's got some great paint deco on him as well. Looks like they've gone ahead and painted his photoreceptors black or gold. I think it's reflective, and he's got some paint on the top of his head, as well as lots and lots going on down here at his belt area. Grays, different shades of it, as well as silver and some bronze. Everything looks really, really good here. And again, he has that same articulation scheme that all the other figures have in this set. Now, some assembly required on the ship. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take this wing and you're going to have to pick a side that you want to connect it to. Spoiler alert, it's going to be this way, because if you flipped it the wrong way, you would be having a ship that looked ridiculous and asymmetric. I don't even think that the ship would let you do that the way that everything is sculpted here. So you line up your 4 pegs and you just click it into place. Took a little bit of effort, but once those are clicked in, it's so seamless you don't even notice it. And there is a little seam line here between the 2 pieces, but it's definitely not something that I notice at first glance. And wow, this thing is big, man. This is probably approaching a foot in width here, and that's awesome. I love seeing some bigger ships in the Micro Galaxy Squadron line. I'm all for it, and I hope that they start going bigger with some of these designs. I will keep on buying them. This ship is so swooshable. That's the first thing I noticed. My hand naturally just went down here underneath the cockpit when it's in that flight mode. It looks awesome like this. I love the design of this kind of half circle look here. It just looks fantastic. Very, very Jedi. All right, where do I even begin on deco here? This whole thing has a dark wash in true Micro Galaxy Squadron fashion. The Jazwares team never misses when it comes to giving things a wash. You've got some really nice wash here. I don't see much of panel lining anywhere, but this ship definitely doesn't need it. On these red parts, I'm also seeing bits of kind of blotchy, like grayish paint. Kind of gives me the idea of dust or grime. Like, this ship has been around for a while. It's seen some action, and that's very fitting for a Jedi shuttle. Up at the front here, we can see the cockpit. It's got lots and lots of detail here. They have that nice clear plastic that's tinted ever so slightly, so you can still see inside the ship, and it's also got a couple windows down at the bottom too. That's really, really nice. I like we have a nice kind of gunmetal color that runs all the way around the center of the wings. And then, of course, looking at, I guess, what you'd call the underbelly of the ship, you get a lot of those same details that we saw on the top. Everything's looking very clean, very uniform. All the paint hits look great. The back of the ship looks awesome too. Look at this nice, very vibrant blue for the thrusters. This makes it look like the ship is in flight. I love that choice. Very easy to do and very low effort, but it gets the point across. And this bubble turret, man, this is probably one of my favorite parts of the ship, is the bubble turret. You got that same nice tinted clear plastic in there to show off, and again, that laser cannon looks awesome. Now, to get this thing opened, I gotta figure out how to get access to the interior. We will start with the cockpit here, so I'm assuming these are pull tabs here, and that you would, what do you do with this? Okay, so the whole thing pulls forward. So there's actually this little gap in here, right here. This is going to help you kind of get access to pull it open once you kind of use these pull tabs on the side. I won't lie, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass to pull forward, but once you get it forward, you can see you have room for 4 seats in the front of the ship. This is a very well scaled vehicle here to have all 4 seats available to you. 2 in the front, 2 in the back. No extra paint detail on any of the control panels or anything like that. However, they do have a nice wash on everything, which brings out a lot of that sculpted detail. Closing this hatch, good luck to myself opening this later. We do now have to access the inside of the hull. All right, again, this was a little bit of a pain in the ass to pull off here. Really, just grab the center here and just pull up. It will come undone without any problems. Look at all this sculpted detail that, again, has a wash on the underneath of the hull piece here. This is awesome. Something I really want to point out too before we really take a look at the interior here is I did just want to show off when you use the ratcheted gyroscope effect of the ship to get it in the different flight modes here. The cockpit follows the rest of the ship. So if you have figures, you know, seated in the flight area and you're twisting the main body of the vessel to get it to go from the different flight modes, everything follows suit. It's very streamlined. It feels very sturdy, and I love that it locks into place there. I don't have to kind of balance it or kind of eyeball it to get it where it needs to be. But taking a look at the interior here, you'll see a very spacious interior. You have kind of your hallway that leads to the cockpit area, although those are not connected. You do also have your big kind of meeting table area that kind of extends. You got some different door panels on the side here. Both of these do open. There are identical ones on each side. I'm not really sure when you would use this unless the ship was like in this mode here and you had it like displayed. You could open up this hatch so that the characters can walk in and out. Aside from that, I don't see much use for this feature. However, I do appreciate the extra detail, you know, it's very nice. And then in the back here, you can kind of see the little training area. You can see some of the training masks as well as little training probes there. Everything looks really, really cool. None of this opens or anything. It's all sculpted in, but at the end of the day, it's a very, very nice interior, and it's very, very spacious as well. One more little opening feature I want to show off is the opening ball turret. I love that it opens from the side. It's so different. Everything kind of opens top to bottom, and I love that this opens from the side. You can see the flight yokes and the control panel on the inside on the part that you unhinge, and there is a spot to seat your figure there. While we're here, let's seat Sabine in here, since Sabine is the one that does the shooting while Ahsoka does the flying when they're on CTOS. So let's get her seated in there. But once you've got her seated in there, you can see she looks really, really good inside of the ball turret, and it looks very natural. I love she's kind of leaned forward like she's actually going to shoot at some enemy ships. And now we're going to place our hull piece back on the top. There's a little kind of clip. You're going to want to kind of put the front in first, and then just kind of press everything else into place, and it will all just snap into place very nicely. All right, now let's get our other characters seated in the cockpit area where they belong. So we'll kind of open up our cockpit here. As you can see, it was a little bit of a pain to open again, but nothing too crazy here. Ahsoka seems to sit on the kind of driver's seat equivalent of this ship here in the show. And then Hu Yang, I don't think he's going to fit with his little backpack attachment there. So, maybe he will. Maybe he will. So maybe we can get Hu Yang with his backpack attachment on. Well, guess what? We sure as hell can, and it looks really cool seeing them both in there, and you can include up to 2 more figures in there securely seated. All right, now here is a cool feature for the kind of landed form of the ship here. You have this little ramp that opens up and locks into place because once you, I guess we should probably do this first, you have the 2 pieces of landing gear that just kind of assist in balancing this little fin of the ship when you have it in that landed form, kind of balances it out. It's actually really sturdy when you do that. Makes it very, very, very stable, and I was very surprised by that actually. And then with this ramp down, the ramp actually goes right to the ground, and if you wanted to, this is not a, you know, something you have to do here, you can actually lift up the door here on the left side, and then we can kind of set it down so it's almost flush with the top of the ship here, as you can see. And then you can have that ramp down again so that you can look right into, I know it's very dark, but you can look, I can see right into the interior of the ship. Obviously, it's something that you're not going to notice unless this is displayed kind of above eye level, but it's a super cool detail, and it's the kind of details like that that Micro Galaxy Squadron and Jazwares always pay attention to, and it's stuff like that that I love. And that's going to do it for my review of the Ahsoka T-6 shuttle, and I think there's definitely a reason I haven't seen this in store until just now, and that's because this is a really, really cool ship. The bang for your buck you get with this thing is phenomenal. I love the size of it, the shape of it, the natural swooshability that the ship design has, and of course Jazwares doing all the attention to detail that they always do. Knocked this out of the park for 30 bucks. This was a lovely, lovely purchase. Very happy to add this to my collection. And with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did and you're not yet subscribed, subscribe to Blitz Transmissions. I've got awesome Star Wars content coming out all the time. Make sure to check out my social media, all of which is linked in the description below. That's going to be all for this video, guys. I'll catch you for the next one, and may the Force be with you.